Okay, it's time to finish our sock by weaving in our ends. And so this is where we finished our Kitchener stitch. And you can see that it looks a little dog-eared. And so when I get ready to weave it in, I'm always going to kind of take my yarn and I'm going to look at how can I make that absorb into my sock. You know, you could go that way, but I like it more this way. I like to use the John James Sharps so that I can split some yarn. When you thread a needle, you want to put your yarn over the needle, pinch your index and thumb together, pull it out, don't peek, and then it will, well, most of the time, pull it out. I think I peeked, and that's the problem. And then you just insert your eye of your needle in. And that will thread the needle. Okay, and then I'll pull this in going this way. But one other thing you'll want to do is kind of give it a look and say, how do my heels look? I've got a little bit of a hole here, so I'm going to have to fix that up. This guy looks really good. What I like to do, I look at that beforehand, and now I'm ready. I'm going to put my hand in the sock, and I'm going to insert it really kind of close up right here, pull it in, and you can see how that disappears so nicely. And then I'm going to turn the whole sock inside out. You might take your hand out because you've got that needle in there, and I'll undo the needle, but I'm going to turn the whole, I like to work my ends in kind of all at once. So I turn it in so that I can see where things are. And I'm going to look here to see which side of my heel. This guy's got the little bit. This guy's got the bigger hole, and I'll show you how I weave in that. But let's go up to the top here, and we'll thread the needle again. And with 100% wool, this has got a little nylon in it, but I like to, and you don't want to pull this too tight because it will pucker that, but I like to take little snippets of the yarn, not the whole stitch, because you don't want to get to the other side, about 1/2 inch, pull my needle through, and then I'm going to give it a little tug back, and then I'm going to come back to this side, and I'm going to come back through, kind of catching that yarn that I just wove down those stitches, kind of splitting the difference. Give it a tug back, and then I like to snug it that way, and then I would snip it off. I like to snip mine pretty close, okay? Now, that's pretty self-explanatory, but let's go down to our little hole that we see here. Sometimes it's just, we just have holes, and we do our best not to, but again, I can cinch them up. The one thing you want to be careful of is that you don't go too deep so that you sew your sock together. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to come over. I'm going to just kind of stay on the top of that, and I'm going to split the difference of those yarns, and I'm going to come through it and just, again, snug, not tug, through it. And I'm going to go back, almost like I'm whipping a stitch, just so that it really secures that. If you're in doubt, a good thing to do would then to be turn it around and check it to make sure that you have a good look. I'm pretty confident with this one. And now I'm going to weave in this in, and I'm going to go up the blue line right here, picking up little snippets, little snippets, little snippets. And then I'm going to come right back down, and I'm going to go in that yarn up, maybe pick up a little underneath. And it'll feel a little tight. You pull it through. Give it a snug. Sometimes I pull it back. Give it a snug. Flip it off, and let's go look at it and see what we think of that look. I think it was this side. Ah! It's fabulous. I mean, you really can't tell that there was a hole there. So we get kind of worried about these, but there's really no reason to sweat that. All right, then you'd finish weaving in the rest and enjoy wearing your socks.